What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks, and we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks, cause True Talks, alright? Let's get straight right into it. So you already know, basically, last night was definitely, a great game. A lot of positives that came out of that game. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that we like coming out of that. Obviously Gary Trent went to see me when I work. You know what I'm saying? Showing his ability, showing that trade was definitely well worth the trade. You know what I'm saying? Well worthwhile. A lot of people were saying, oh my God, Powell this, Powell that. And, I like Powell, like I've been said from time. But even before the trade, I if you follow me on IG or on Twitter, I've been said I like Trent. I like what he's doing. I like that he's even improved and advanced to his shot creating bag, because before it was straight catch and shoots, right? And a 1-2 escape dribble catch and shoots. But, he's not just a catch and shoot player. He's proven that clearly. Even when he came in and he's been struggling, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he was pulling that bitch from time. You know what I'm saying? No, not scared, not nervous, none of that stuff. Just a shot creating killer scorer mentality. And that's always what you need, and that's always a necessity for, the future and when it actually matters. So that's definitely a positive sign that you get from Trent. We'll talk more about him in depth, obviously. And that at the end of the day, Raptors fought through and came back and got the win and fought to the end, right? Especially with the Trent bucket. So, we'll see what happened. Obviously, they went to, they faced the Wizards at home and, looking for the second game win streak, which they got. And it was an uphill battle. But, Westbrook, kept trying and push it to the end. So, let's go into that context, because I give you that context. Let's go straight right into it, boy. So you already know, like I said, it was an uphill battle, right? To start this game, it was definitely, where the Raptors started off struggling. It was, the Washington Wizards that came out the jump and was going ham. They came out the jump going ham, went on a big run. And then from there, it was an uphill battle for the Raptors, you know what I mean? And then finally in the fourth quarter, when, they came through and they went on a run with the bench unit. The bench unit, I'm pretty sure was Yuta. Yuta, Bembry, Aaron Baines, Malachi, and OG. It was those five, right? That was the bench unit that they went with. Pascal was on the bench. We know that Van Fleet didn't play this game as well. Lowry didn't play this game as well. So it was going to come down to Pascal, OG, and Trent, right? But, Trent was on the bench, Pascal was on the bench, and they went on a big run. Like, basically, OG made a pull-up finally. Wow, we were surprised. He did a one-dribble pull-up off the curl. And I was happy to see that from OG. And then after that, Ish Smith, did a shot creating bag, escape dribble, crossover, I think right to left, floater, if you know her. And then after that, it was 90-84. And then ever since that, the Raptors went on a 12-0 run, right? They went on a 12-0 run. And when they went on the 12-0 run, I think it ended up being 96-90 before they even scored the next bucket, right? So, they went on a big run. And when they went on a big run, then finally, Westbrook got fouled. So they went on a 12-0 run, and it was a drought for the Wizards. The Wizards had a drought from basically the 9-minute mark when Ish Smith, 9:08, and they didn't score a free throw, a drought all the way to 4:32. So, you know what I'm saying? You had basically a 5-minute drought in the fourth quarter of where the whole game changed and everything changed, and the uphill battle started to change, and now the Wizards were on an uphill battle. So, what I wanted to talk about, too, is like the fact that at that point now, Westbrook was a guy that was struggling, right? He was struggling, and Westbrook is a guy that gets a lot of flack. He gets a lot of, bad narratives, terrible narratives, and this, that, and the third, and all of that type of stuff. And, when he gets those narratives, like, I've always said, like, Westbrook is a guy, like, I understand the whole, like, I know Westbrook is a gift and a curse. And what I mean by that, it's he plays the same way every single time, which is a gift, because that mentality, that fight through, that aggression, that going like 100 miles per hour is a gift, because a lot of the times you're the team that tries to settle. He puts his foot on your neck and he keeps going, controls the pace, controls the tempo, and never lacks, right? but it can be a curse at times, like you see when he's in those droughts where he doesn't adjust. He doesn't now make the right decision. He moves as if he's hot, which is a gift and a curse. It could be a curse at times where if he's struggling, it's like he doesn't use KYP, time, clock, and score. Don't shoot this three at this time. Milk the clock, get a better shot. You know what I mean? Probe, use IQ, get poised, use what you want, all that type of stuff. And also, too, when you're up, he could also sometimes not use IQ in terms of poise, control the tempo, play the game clock and score, like I said. And then from there, control what's going on. He's always going to move at that 100 miles per hour. So sometimes, you could come back in the game. He's going to make mistakes, all that type of stuff. But the reason why I say it's a gift, and the gift that people kind of like erase and don't really acknowledge, is that this man is a killer. Like, he has that killer mentality. He has that passion, and he has that aggression. Like, he will never take the foot off the gas. He'll always give it his all, 110, 115, 20%. You know what I'm saying? Whether he's injured, whether he's not. And when you have a guy like that, that's someone you would want on your team because, like I said, if you look during the stretch when they were struggling, he was taking some 1-2 ill-advised shots and, trying to, early in the shot clock and was trying to push and press, press. And most guys in this situation, now he's 0 for 8 in the quarter, right? And he's just struggling. Most guys in that situation now would move different. If you turned on the TV, you wouldn't even know that Westbrook was struggling based off of if you just turn on and you just saw him right now. Like he literally looks the same when he's eating and when he's struggling, he looks the same. And that is an extreme gift that a lot of people don't have because he's not going to be affected by the 0 for 8. And that's why you've seen when the game turned around and came back closer again, Westbrook hit a couple shots. It wasn't like he just ran to the paint and made layups or whatever. He still was shooting. This is a guy who is not known for his three-point shooting. He's not known for that. And he still, when it mattered, got the three-point bucket. Because why? At the end of the day, like when you're someone who doesn't do this, but then in the clutch, you do this, that is extreme clutch. That is extreme killer mind that you fight through. You're literally, you mentally will. You have that mental will where it's like, you're supposed to not even be confident to shoot that type of shot. You're supposed to not even be confident. But the fact that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter for him. He mentally pushes through. It's like someone who, has pain, but they mentally don't feel it because they're mentally strong and they push through that pain, right? That their body doesn't feel it in that moment or, they can fight through and push through that. And it's like, it's mind over matter type thing. And that's what Westbrook does. That's clearly what he does. So when you look at it from that perspective, like Westbrook is always someone you would want and someone that as a hooper or just anyone in general or teaching your kids, that's someone who you kind of look at in like that mentality aspect. Because again, basketball is 80-20 or 90-10, where it's mental versus skill, right? So like, because if you have that skill, but you don't have the mentality to even apply it, that skill will go to waste. No one would ever know that you even have that skill. Right. So that mental aspect is very, very crucial. And that's the same thing you hear me say when in terms of Kawhi now and in terms of Pascal now. Like, I'm always mad when you don't move the same. Yes, you missed the 1-2 shot, even if they're double teaming you. If you don't move the same, move like you always move. That's when I'm like, his palms wasn't sweaty. He was just missing. That's why no one could ever say with Westbrook, he was nervous, this and that type. They will never say that type of stuff with him because he moves, even if, like you saw, he's 0 for 8, and the man kept going. That's that Kobe. You don't look different. You look the same. You're not nervous. Your aggression don't change just because you missed. That next play mentality. Forget what just happened. If anything, I remember the last play, and that's why I'm going to score on this one. Other people remember the last play, and it's kind of like, I'm off right now. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to hit that, and they second guess. You know what I'm saying? They second guess. Hesitant. No. Killer mentality and that type of mentality push through and fights through that always. So, Westbrook made a 1-2 bucket and changed the game around again and made it a closer game and even got them to lead with that 3, right? And then it came down to Pascal. And, Pascal, like, this is why I like Nurse. I know what's starting to transpire, and that's what you're seeing with the GT elevation and GT kind of, being more potent and kind of putting his hand down, GT and Gary Trent. And you're starting to see that Pascal is starting to kind of remove from that position of give him the ball, do that and that and that. In the clutch, that position, he did get it. But you've seen other times, other plays, even when Gary Trent was struggling, when Van Vliet was here, you could see that that Nurse is running plays for, like, out of timeouts, running plays for GT, like I showed in my other breakdowns, out the corner and stuff like that, where now he did the step back and he just missed it. Like, they're going away from before they used to try and go to Pascal and force it, because, like, it's more so, that was more so politics, right? Like, just because you're the face or you're the guy who's been presented as this is the new all-star, this is the new, franchise player and all that type of stuff, and the hoopla that was given for Pascal doesn't necessarily mean you should be the go-to guy in the clutch. And that's where the politics at hand with basketball kind of doesn't get separated, because you don't see coaches just go, I'm going to go to the hooper. I know who the hooper is. I know who the bucket getter is, and we go to him at all time. But you have to play that politic game, because if you get your superstar or your star franchise player mad and he don't get it, then it could be a problem. So it's that politic game that coaches normally have to play, right? But, like, that's why Pascal was in these situations. And I know a lot of fans were frustrated because they realized that he ain't that, right? And you're starting to see, like, even in this last play, like, Pascal can't just pull anything, can't just, shot create. He can't, obviously. It's been multiple years. You've seen, he improved, he can't. And that's not a knock against him. That's just, he doesn't have that ability, and he was thrust into a position where he has to present that ability that he doesn't present, right? If you look at his best case scenario in terms of winning and in terms of everything was when he was with Kawhi, and he wasn't forced to be that go-to guy. He kind of was scoring based off situational opportunities because Kawhi drew attention and Kawhi was the go-to guy. So Pascal now being changed to be a go-to guy was never it. So exactly what you saw at the end. He was the one who got the ball and then got a charge. You know what I'm saying? Using no IQ, no pull-up ability. I have to go to the paint. That's why man could just get a charge on him, etc. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have that ability, so it was just easy for the defense, right? And then now what did it come down to? Neto missed the shot, and then it came down to GT where he got the rebound, and you already know. That's how you know someone's a scorer and a killer mentality type of guy. You know what I'm saying? GT was like, they asked him after the game, were you going to pass it? We knew you weren't going to pass it. The man said, no, not at all. Once you got that rhythm, we knew you're not going to pass it. We knew you're going to come down. He said, no, not at all. He interrupted them and said, no, not at all. I'm not passing that. You already know. Like, y'all know. The coach know. The fans know. Media know. The commentators know. We weren't passing it. You know what I'm saying? And for them to know, that means you know you're a dog. That's what it's basically universal. We all know that you a dog. You that. You know what I'm saying? And he knew. So, like, for him to have the presence of mind and the willingness to actually come down the court. And this is when you know someone, like, this is why I say to people, like he's only 22. And people say you need time to, close and need time to do that. I only say that if in any closing moment you have shown that you're a killer. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily get the bucket and score. But you're a killer, meaning the type of take that you do is the type of take that you do. And we've seen GT in minute 1, in minute 2, in minute 3 do this same type of step back shot create in 3. He didn't do it from mid range. He did it from 3. You know what I'm saying? That when you know someone has that ability, his mindset and his mentality is basically operating on a higher level. For you to be comfortable and to basically go to a shot creating bag when it matters, that means it's instinct. It's instincts. It's instinctual. It's not something where you have to predetermine it. You have to think about it. You had to calculate. Okay, I'm gonna do this move and then, you know what I mean? That's when you see guys, even like DeRozan bounced on his foot and stuff like that, and you see other guys in the clutch, don't perform as well because it's not who they are at heart in the pressure. Now you could be at that at heart all you want. You could be a shot creating type of guy, but when the pressure comes, that really exposes if you're a shot creating type of guy. You know what I'm saying? That's what people don't understand. That's deep level context, deep level mindset, deep level thinking. But I'm here to, just give you perspective from the hooper's mind and what reality actually is, right? So, like, you look at it, Gary Trent, for him to have the presence of mind. And this is do or die. This is not we're tie game. So, when it's a tie game, some guys can, they're going to go to a bag because they have that cushion that if I miss, it could still go to overtime. It's not really hella pressure. It's more so I don't even worry. Like you have nothing to lose, right? That's how your mind is operating. So you're more comfortable, right? You're more comfortable. So, but for you to be like it's do or die, your heart is beating, you're nervous, but you fight through that nerves and you just think and you just read and react and just go to like a shot creating bag, that means it's literally, that's who you are at heart. That's who you are at heart. And when I mean by shot creating bag, he literally came and did the chicken wing. Now, obviously, Raul Neto was flopping and he's mad that he flopped or mad that he didn't get the offensive foul. And like I was telling people before, when you're in front of a guy and you kind of like, when you step back, it's instinctual to, that's how most men step back, get off me. That's how you normally do your step back. You don't, you know what I mean? Like you do push, but when you over push and hold and it's hella selled, that's when now you're going to get the offensive foul. Now in this situation, it was more a flop than a foul. So other times you can see the push happen and then he flops and over exaggerates it, but the push actually was hella extended, right? He just kind of, he hit him. He didn't push him. There's two different things. When you go like this and then you land and touch him on it and then you keep going, that's when you're like, okay, that's not really going to move you back like that. But when you're here and you push him with it, you know what I'm saying? There's two different things. When he's on you tight and you actually are pushing him the whole way of the extension, that's when they more so call it and your flop won't matter. But when you're already far away and you kind of step back, you pushed, but you didn't push him from here. At the end of the push, you touched him. That's two different things. So that's not going to force you to go hella back. If anything, just going to clap your chest. It's not like you're like this. My fault, y'all. It's not like you're from here getting pushed, right? You're meeting him. And that's kind of what happened with Gary Trent. He just instinctual met him there. And then that's when he flopped. And that's sort of like the flop and the hit don't matter. There's a difference between a hit and a push, right? The hits, they don't really call because that's just instinctual. And that's what I try to and tell people and give context into, right? The hits don't really call. But, and not only that, he didn't have a clear advantage where it's like, that's unnecessary, call it. Normally, that's what they do, too. When you, like I said, when you have an advantage, the guy's on your hip, you don't need to push. Then now you push or whatever, and you start from here and push him. Don't hit him. You actually push him. That's when they're going to call that. And that's what you see with the Tatum, with the Kawhis, and you see that kind of happen all the time, right? So this one was more of a flop because they're like, man, the way you flopped, they're like, we're not even going to reward you anymore. Like, maybe they would have called if he didn't flop as much. But the fact that he flopped that excessively, they're like, I'm not even going to reward you with that. And in the clutch, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? So they just kind of let that play out. If anything, in those situations, you don't put the onus in the ref's hands. You never do. Offense or defense. And that's where Neto was wrong for that. You just play straight up defense, recover, and try and contest. But again, back to Trent. Shot creating mind. The fact that they had the awareness to they didn't just run and just try to pull. He did an escape move, got the best look he could get. And you could tell this is a shot creating bag and type of guy by how it went in. It didn't rattle, it didn't hit backboard, it didn't all over the place. It cleanly went in. That's what it did. So you know that this is the ability. You know that he actually has that, that clutch. He has that clutch gene. You clearly can tell. This is not where it's luck. Now, what I would say now is if it's going to be a different situation because this is running down, you know what I mean? The end of the clock, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever. But a different situation now is you need a bucket, with 10 seconds, with 11 seconds, with that type of stuff. You need a bucket, and then you go to him and he has to ISO from the top. That's something that you hear the normal cliche statement of, give him time. He needs to get better with that. That's where it applies. If you already have the gene and you already are a scorer, now you being in those moments often, you will get better. Not someone who is already fugazi and doesn't have the gene, then you're saying he's going to get better. That never happens. You don't have the gene. So guess what I'm trying to explain. And, at the end of the day, like you can just see like Gary Trent's takes. He's not just, that's why I'm trying to say the difference in Powell, because Powell, like it took him a while to even get to the shot creating level. And the shot creating level that Norm is at isn't really like, that's why I try to tell people he scores the threes and pull ups the gap from threes here and there and whatever and catch and shoot threes. But a lot of the time, like he's not even doing bare floaters. He's using his athleticism to run to the rim and try to do like his high lays, on a Friday. That's what he tries to do. And, rarely does he do the mid-range bag and just kill impotent from there. If you look at Trent rarely scores in the paint. He only scores in the paint and, in fast break situations. And even in fast break situations, he's doing floaters. Like this is a guy who literally kills in the gap. Like you don't hear me say like Gary Trent isn't a guy that wastes opportunities, right? He doesn't just probe. No, the minute you sag off, there's a pick and roll and he'll escape. He'll literally he's gonna waste no opportunity. He's gonna pull that bitch any chance he gets. If you give him a gap, he's gonna pull the shot crate from the mid range. He literally is a scorer. And I know a lot of people didn't expect that because they just saw him catching and shooting. I'm like, what you see him in Portland, like he's playing with how many scorers? How many hierarchy guys in priority order that are going to take that shot more so than him? And even with those guys there, where you would think he would actually get if he doesn't have a bucket, pass right away, he still don't. He still will force a three, a shot creating three. He'll do whatever. Whenever he gets an opportunity, he don't waste it. You sag off, he don't waste it. You give him space in the mid-range, he don't waste it. He don't run and try to run to the paint and it don't work and then I have to kick out. Like, he don't waste that. He always has his foot on your neck. Any opportunity, any gap, he's pulling. And that's a true shot creator. And that's why I like from Trent. Like, even when he's struggling, he's going to do that. You wouldn't know if he's struggling or not. Same thing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. He's going to pull that shit right away. You know what I'm saying? And if you looked even in the fourth quarter, as soon as he came in, it was a tight game. Got the ball, pass fake to the corner. Most guys will pass it. Pass fake to the corner, pump fake, escape dribble, pull up, swish. Nothing but net, bucket. You know what I mean? So, like, Gary Trent is an actual problem. Like, he's 22. He's already shot creating. Like, if you look at Norm at 22 versus Trent at 22, Trent has more upside. Trent has more potential. Just not even career-wise, but if you just look at the skill, like, he's already shot creating. Like, Powell wasn't doing that off the jump. So that's what people are trying to assess. The Powell now you see at 27 entering his prime versus the Trent now at 22. I'm taking the Trent now at 22 because this is a guy who's already doing things Powell don't even do at 27. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that type of mentality. Like, they're still the same type of player, but Trent is actually bucket-wise and individual skill-wise is more advanced than what I see Powell. And that's what I was trying to enlighten people and see. Like, you could see it. So now, like, again, now you're starting to see Nurse letting him eat. You're starting to see Nurse letting things be potent. You're starting to see Nurse, letting him be more comfortable and actually run a 1-2 sets for him. And you're starting to see him get way more touches. Now, and Gary Trent is just only going to get better and better and better. And obviously, it might change. But now, that's what I like to see. Now, when Van Fleet, Lowry, the main guys are there, they're actually going to go to him. And that's what you want. Because remember, when he first came in, he kind of just got it whenever he got it, pull, whatever. Now, they're going to go to him and actually be like, yo, create real quick. He's actually the only real true shot creator right now on the team. There isn't any other one because those guys kind of like shot create by situational. He actually like goes to it. Like, even if you give him a layup, he's going to pull the floater. He's going to pull the mid-range. Like, you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So, like, that's what Elite looks like. And now what other things I liked from this team, like Pascal did well. You know what I mean? Pascal, he, 10 for 16? 10 for 16, 22 points. He did well. But at the end of the day, he was what? He was, negative 20 and stuff like that on the plus minus. But he did well at the end of the day. Like, but Pascal, the way he scores is Pascal, right? What I liked was, obviously OG struggled, Boucher struggled, but Bembry and Malachi Flynn. Now, let's first start with Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn, he was 6 for 13. Obviously not the most efficient, but I like the fact that he took 13 shots. Like, he took 13 shots. So that's aggression. You know what I'm saying? 16 points. And that's aggression. That's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm like, that's where I need Flynn to be aggressive. And I know a lot of it changed because Van Fleet is out, right? So when Van Fleet's there, you see Van Fleet, Malachi kind of like be hesitant, shy away, and okay, here Van Fleet, I'll go to the corner. Or, because he's normally playing a lot of times with Van Fleet too, right? So it's like, you don't see him be as aggressive, and his usage his usage rate is kind of, dropped down and is not as high and not as involved as it should be. And so you could see he's not as confident, he's not as aggressive, and as a killer as he should be and as we know he can be. So him being aggressive, I don't even care about the misses or nothing. Just him being aggressive, I liked him, and he did a lot of shot creating takes too as well, you know what I mean, and even in the fourth. So when you look at it, I definitely like the aggression from him, and I need him to do that more, even with Van Fleet, even with Lowry. Just apply the Trent mentality. Whenever you have it, whenever it's an opportunity, be aggressive, that when it's warranted. Now Bembry is a classic case of situational, where people like, oh my God, he looks trash. Then you look down the line and he's now eaten. And people are like, oh my God, my fault, I was mistaken. That's because casual fans don't really have the IQ to discern why is he looking like this, right? And this is where the same conversation on a grander scheme where we look at it from like the LeBron versus like, like the differences in Kobe and KD, like I say that people don't really attribute or really take in. Like LeBron is going to is going to make Rondo and all these other guys, role players, play a way that might not be their weakness, just so LeBron could be in his positive and in his benefit, right? Could be in his strength. And that now makes those other guys look fugazi. And that's why you see the Jordan Clarksons, you see the Brandon Ingrams, you see the Jay Crowders, you see the Rodney Hoods, you see, like, and I'm not even going to now the higher tier of Chris Bosh, K Love, and all the other guys, but those other guys, I can name a plethora of role players that you see look fugazi with him, and then the minute they leave, they're frying. Even Kuzma was eating, and the minute they're with LeBron, look fugazi. Like, it's because they're main to play as something that's not their main strength, something that's either somewhat of a strength or a weakness. They have to play and live in that every day. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they look fugazi playing with LeBron, as opposed to, that's why you see like KD, Kawhi, all these other guys with actual skill sets off ball. Every other man, when they come, could play as their strength. Like the Rondo you're going to see in the Clippers is going to look even more different than the Rondo than you see with the Lakers, because Rondo was like spotting up, stuff like that, right? Like, I have to live in my weakness just so you could have your strength. I'm not going to look as great and I'm going to look trash because that's my weakness. Why am I a spot-up shooter like Bembry? Why is he just spotting up all the time? Now, the minute that, Van Fleet is out, Lowry is out, and Pascal's like, okay, we're not going to have you just ball handling. Now, Bembry is playing point guard, and look how he looks. He's looking like a Luka. He's looking like those ball-dominant point guards where, like, or, not in terms of shot creating. He's not shot creating like them, but he's going to the paint, shooting high efficiency, picking his spots, and then diming, playmaking, using IQ, just dictating the tempo, dictating what's going on. You know what I mean? He's looking like a complete different player, looking way more useful than him just playing defense and being a 3-and-D when he don't really shoot like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you're like, oh my God, he looks trash. Bembry ill. That's what people are saying, and that's how he looks. But then now look how he looks. He looks like a complete 360 times 10 elite player, way better player, better version of himself, because he's playing in his strength. And that's what people don't understand. That's why I don't really ever call a player trash unless, like, they're supposed to be playing in a strength and they're looking fugazi. Like, when you see stuff like Baines or stuff like that, like, and even then, they're in the NBA for a reason, right? But again, I don't really call players trash. I just only now have to, like, bring back down the tier of player you boost them to be when you have them this high, and now I have to put you in your seat and, like, give you perspective and kind of like let reality hit you. And that's where you see me, like the Lowrys and whatever. Like, they're not like that because of where you put them at. But I never would say Lowry is trash. I would never say that. You know what I'm saying? I would never say this player is trash, because I know at the end of the day, the caliber of player that they're actually, how do you look at that player? How do you view them? Right? And then a lot of these role players, actually, if they're given opportunity, will look like a whole different player that y'all have never seen. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, like, people don't understand that. And that's why you see people saying Stanley is trash and this. And I never say that, because I've seen them play with shot creating ability. I know what they possess, but they're in a situation where they can't possess that. They can't put that at hand. They can't, you know what I mean? They can't. So, like, you see a completely different player, and that's where, like, Bembry is literally the epitome of that. That's what you saw from Bembry, is literally perfect case, classic example of situations mean everything. You know what I'm saying? Usage mean everything. How you're used mean everything. So, looking at it from that perspective, I like what I saw from Bembry. Obviously, when Lowry and Van Fleet comes back, he's most likely going to go back to that same role, because, unless they have Lowry and Van Fleet more so spot up and whatever, because he was actually, like, he was looking nice as, like, playmaking, dropping dimes, doing all that type of stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like, it was definitely, like, a great positives that I saw from it. Raptors fighting, and then able to keep the lead. Gary Trent was my main positive, even though he only had 16. Just looking at his takes, like, it's actually what elite looks like. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously Malachi I liked. Bembry I liked. Pascal didn't do normal Pascal things, but like I said, it was definitely, a lot of positives to see. Now they're 11th in the East. They're only, they're one game back from 10th, where 7 to 10 you get the play-in game. For the Raptors, that's what you want to at least achieve. At least be between 7 to 10, where you could get the play-in. So at least in some type of postseason fashion, postseason form, we see you. You're not just going home once the regular season ends. And that's always going to help you in terms of the free agency and whatever, because it's like, at least you could say, we just kind of dropped off. We need this one piece. We need this, that type of play. But when you're now completely out of the postseason, it's kind of like, it's harder to attract, especially when Toronto don't really attract free agents anyways off the jump. So, at least seeing your face in some type of postseason fashion, is always a benefit. It's always something you want to get. Kind of like Portland. Obviously not the same, but kind of like Portland last year where they got to the bubble. Even Phoenix got to the bubble and were at least close enough to where they're close to the play-in. You know what I mean? Or at least you go 9-0 on the last stretch. Or even if the Raptors don't make the playoffs, they go 10 and have an elite ending. That's what the Suns did. Or at least get to the play-in like the Memphis and like Portland. So it's like, okay, the next year we have some positives to kind of look forward to and in terms of the future. Right? So, at the end of the day, Raptors will see how they go. They'll see how they go. They played 50 games so far. So they got 72 games. They got 22 games left. And that's a lot of games to change everything. They could literally get to the 8th seed easily if they just make this run, right? And now their first 2-game winning streak finally went on a whole lot of losing, and still with Lowry injured and Van Vliet. So we'll see how it goes. You got to take advantage. This is not the greatest schedule right now. Sorry, it is the greatest schedule right now for the Raptors. You know what I mean? Because they got, who do they actually got? Let's see this before we kind of get to a closing. I'm pretty sure they got the Lakers today, right? Yeah, they got the Lakers today. And then they got the Lakers today. Yeah, they got the Lakers today. And then they got, I think, Cleveland down the line as well. And, they got winnable games. They got winnable games, because the Lakers don't have LeBron and AD in them. So, these are actually winnable games, right? You got the Lakers, Chicago. Chicago is a winnable game. That's more so the tough game, but you got Chicago winnable, Cleveland winnable, New York is going to be a tough game. But it's winnable. These 4 games you have winnable, and then Atlanta's going to more so be a tough game. These 5 games are winnable. Even San Antonio's winnable, Orlando, then OKC, and then now Brooklyn's where it stops. But these last stretch, these are all winnable games. Even if you lose 2 out of them, that's okay. But these are all winnable games. So, you know what I mean? We'll see how the Raptors respond. We'll see when Lowry's going to come back, Van Vliet as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure because it was a back-to-back, I'm pretty sure Van Vliet will play today. I'm pretty sure that he had to pick and choose which game out of the back-to-back. Lakers is more so the bigger game in terms of Wizards or Lakers. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back versus the Lakers, but we'll see. You already know. Anyways, I appreciate y'all. Share, like, and subscribe. It's True Talks, because True Talks, we out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. You feel me? You already know, man. Like I said, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, like always, you already know. Comment in the comment section what y'all think about, GT. The list goes on and what y'all think. A lot of y'all were like, oh my God, Pascal. Y'all boosted Pascal back then, but then now didn't want to think GT is actually nice coming in because y'all want to hold on to Powell. And then now look at y'all. Now y'all are like, oh my goodness, oh GT. Like, come on now. Like I told y'all from time, man. Like this is what elite looks like. You got to look at the ability. And then don't just look at what you saw. Look at what you're gonna see. Look at what you're gonna see based off the ability. If he gets the opportunity, that's what he's waiting for. That's why he's so happy to be in Toronto, because he's literally living his dream. Every time he does workouts, he's living his dream where I want to shot crate, I want to score, you know what I mean? He can't do that when you have Dame, CJ, Melo. You know what I'm saying? So many guys, Nurkic, there's so many guys down the list. You know what I'm saying? So it's harder for him to even apply that bag, and he only was able to when CJ was there. And even then, it's still so many different guys. And it's on a ball movement team. It's an ISO predicated team. So you're going to see, and this is GT just now. He's not even fully comfortable. He's going to even only get better. So I'm happy to see what I see from him, man. So, we'll see. This is what elite looks like at the end of the day. I appreciate y'all. You already know, man. And I'm out, man.